Okay, who's up?
Game statuses?
Everybody's questionable except Justin Hollins. He'll be out.
You said Hireman was closer than James?
Yes.
Questionable, but he's still closer?
Yes,
Is Reisner questionable? Or?
he is, but I'm confident should be able to go.
Connor McGovern as well.
Yes.
Tim Patrick and Mike Purcell?
Yeah, Mike's not even listed as questionable. He's going. And yes to Tim.
Sorry, how's Marcus Walker look this week? His shoulder healthy?
He's fine. You know, his shoulder's healthy. We'll probably still go with Adam because, you know, Adam's taken advantage of these last couple of weeks. It's been close, and we'll probably go with Adam.
Will James work out before the game, Joel, for that decision?
Possibly.
Do you think that's impacted your offense, Juwan's injury and kind of the juggling you've had to do?
Well, I think anytime you lose a good player, you know, it impacts you somehow, some way. So the answer is probably yes, but I think Elijah's gone in there and, you know, played credible for us, and I think he's benefiting from this, and I think he'll be a good player for us.
How Devontae Harris looked after a rough game last week?
Okay, you know, he's still working through his issues that he had and had a good week of practice, and he's focused and ready to go.
If Connor had a problem in the game, would Austin go to center, or would you move Dalton over?
Austin.
Am I good in promoting him to the active roster? Was the thinking there?
Hollins can't play, so we wanted 4 outside backers up, and he'll be on a bunch of the special teams too. So anxious to see him play.
Because Callahan had his surgery yet,
Yes,
they got a better piece of hardware in there.
that's what they tell me. We'll see. Again, they think it was a success and already looking better than it was. So, you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Has there been an official decision on the backup quarterback this week?
It's not official, but I'll tell you it's Ripien. That's just between me and you now. All right?
Would you say you know if Drew's progressed enough to come to the roster next week? Or?
Possibly. You know, again, he's not getting a ton of reps. You know, the offense is getting more plays in practice than the defense is to facilitate that somewhat. And he's definitely doing good for when you factor in that he hadn't done anything since whenever in August. So is he ready? You know, I don't know that he'll ever be ready in the next few weeks, you know, based upon his lack of practice time. But there's a chance at some point maybe he'll play.
I think they've only allowed 20 points 3 times this season. When you go into a game against a defense like that, do you prepare do you know, hey, I'm going to make decisions a certain way based on the defense being that stingy?
Yeah. You know, that was one of the reasons, if you remember back in the Tennessee game, early in that game, well, actually, I think it was in the second quarter, we had a 4th and 1 in field goal range. And it was pretty obvious to me at that point that points were going to be hard to come by. So I chose to kick the field goal rather than go for it. So definitely you adjust to the game that you think you're involved in. And there's a chance that weather can be a factor too. So that could impact some of your decisions.
Coach, when you were around Frank Gore in San Francisco, did you think he'd still be doing this and 46 yards away from third all-time in 2019?
Probably not, but it doesn't surprise me. Frank has a rare love of the game. He really does. He's somebody that I still stay in touch with. He'll text me out of the blue. I'll text him. He's got a rare love of the game. He really does. And I see no crack in that love. You know, he goes out there and runs like hard as he can, as good as he can. You know, he's not out there just playing because, you know, let me stretch this a little bit more, but he likes to play. He really does.
Any text this week?
No, not this week, but I'm sure he'll come up to me on the field before the game.
How'd you develop that relationship being on the other side of the ball?
We just did, I'm attracted to guys that love football, and he loves football. He's attracted to good football. He liked the way we were playing on defense, and kind of just happened. But him and I have stayed in contact, and Frank's a good guy.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, see you.
Andre Roberts, all-pro last year. Is he as difficult a returner you guys have seen this year?
No question. He's very, very good. He's been on 3 different teams in 3 years, been to a Pro Bowl with 3 teams, so he makes a big difference wherever he goes. And that's a guy that is very, very elite, regardless of where he's at. He's got different guys blocking for him, and he creates his own return. Best thing he has is leg drive. He runs like a running back that's 225 pounds. He's very hard to bring down, and he's very, very competitive. But yes, to answer your question, it's a big guy that we got to get down.
When Brandon misses a kick like that, do you have to say anything to him, or does he kind of work through it himself?
No, especially during a game, you just work through it. Until you see the tape, you don't know. He was just too tight and pushed the ball to his right. You can tell if a ball gets pushed to its right, the plant foot's too tight to the spot, or if the ball gets pulled or too far away. But, yeah, they got to self-fix. They go back to the net, and he can feel that.
Would you
Would you take one guy to take Janovich's snaps on special teams, or are you looking at a couple guys?
It's a combination. There's no question. With what Andy can do, Andy can do that. There's not a lot of guys that can do what he does, so you just kind of mix and match and find and put guys in spots that can do that.
Like you said, Gooden would play a lot on special teams. Are you eager to see what he can do?
Yeah, he's heavy-handed. This guy's got some heavy hands. Plays very fast for as big as he is. Can't wait to see him play. I thought his last 2 games in the preseason were very, very good. He made some plays on punt in terms of tackling, and very into it in terms of the mental part. So we're looking forward to seeing Ahmad go out and play. And, congratulations to him. It's one of those where he's earned it.
have you seen what you wanted out of Colby Wadman this season, just in terms of consistency and?
No, he needs to be more consistent. There's no question. That's, you can see that out on the field. And he's got to improve on that, and we need can't have 2 good balls and a bad ball, It has to be all good or at least all the same. And the best kickers, I've been lucky. I've had the Colquitts, the Vinatieri's, all these guys, Pat McAfee's. And one thing they are is they're boring because they do the same thing every time, and it's really good. And that's what I want him to be, is I want him to be boring. And that's what Brandon needs to be too. That's the thing we have to get with our specialists, is do the same kick all the time. Be boring. And they're going to keep working towards it. They're good workers. And, Casey's going to keep throwing that ball back there.
Are you encouraged by how Colby's progressing, still being
He's a young guy. If you really study the NFL and you look at a guy like a Brett Kern or a Pat McAfee, and you look at their first 4 years, they aren't what they ended up being. You know what I'm saying? So he has leg strength. He's got that's the number one thing you go look for. It's like, I'll give you an example. Just on the other side, from a field goal kicker, you don't go out and get the best field goal kicker in college. You go get the biggest leg. It's a whole different ballgame with where the hashes are. You can't coach 24 games. We're going to play 24 games a season here. I know it's a big statement, but we are. So those guys have to have that kind of leg strength, number one. And Colby has the leg strength. Brandon has that leg strength. Now we need him to be boring and kick that same big ball all the time. I hope that makes sense. Thank you. Have a great day. If I don't see you next week, happy Thanksgiving.